everyone's been talking about Pokemon, Game Freak, and Nintendo, and obviously, we all know why.
Nintendo are continuing our lawsuit against Palworld and are introducing a new patent, the game mechanic of summoning characters or creatures to fight other characters or creatures.
What? So, let me get this straight. Nintendo will be the only gaming company that will be able to make games where you can summon creatures to fight other creatures.
Yes, exactly.
That is insane! You do realize that this is going to impact other games and properties like Terraria, Bakugan, Beyblade, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and many more, right? There are so many other games that use this mechanic. You can't just come in and say you own it.
Well, we wouldn't have gone to these lengths if it weren't for Palworld.
It doesn't matter. This is obviously a huge abuse of patent law. This would be like if Call of Duty sued Battlefield since it uses a lot of the same mechanics and are both first-person shooters. It's not fair, and it hurts creativity in the gaming industry.
And they know what they're doing. And people have been more than annoyed with the direction in which Nintendo has taken. And the thing is, they're so ridiculous that even though people and their fans are starting to slowly walk away, maybe in droves, but others trickling away, they'll still continue to dig their own grave deeper and deeper and deeper while claiming to dig everybody else's. All these multiple versions of graves that they're digging for their enemies are just graves for each of the body pieces that they're gonna lose from this fight that they're picking with the entire freaking world. What idiots.
Pokemon Legends EA. Pokemon Legends Patent and Lawsuit Edition. Oh, whatever the name is. On one hand, I'm like, oh, it's really cool that the PS2 is still getting gamed.
Apparently, it is starting to occur where people that pre-ordered the Pokemon Legends Z through A are having their pre-orders canceled. Why might they be doing that, you ask? We don't know, but people have realized that the ones that are being canceled are the ones specifically for the Switch 1, the people that ordered or pre-ordered Pokemon Legends Z through A or the Switch 1, and more specifically the ones that ordered it with the little extra plushie, like they paid a little bit more to get the plushie, are just having their orders outright canceled.
Pokemon Legends ZA has finally released, and is it worth it? Is it worth being the most expensive Pokemon game ever made? Well, I pushed myself to finish the game, and I can say pretty confidently, no, obviously not. We all knew it wouldn't be. Game Freak can't make a game worth $40, let alone the $550, yes, the number keeps going up, that the game actually costs to get the complete product. And even ignoring the price, the game is a disappointment in so many ways.
Which part of that is supposed to shock me?
Honestly, it tickles me that people are starting to see the light in this because it's almost like everyone's been under this trance, like in those movies where there's a witch who puts a veil over everyone's eyes and there's that one person who's like, hey, what's happening? And everyone is like black eyes, black filter over their eyes, so you can't see what's going on. Everyone looks like a character from out of Coraline. But now that the veil is slowly being lifted and Nintendo themselves, the ones who put the spell over everybody, are the ones responsible for removing it, just makes the whole thing pretty hilarious, and it's really good to see. We've got people on different platforms asking if they should play Pokemon or if Pokemon ZA is even worth the price. And you have people in the comments being like, oh, if you have to ask, then it's not worth it. Someone says you're better off waiting a week or so until the new game hype runs out and they start actually noticing things. Someone says, I wish I could refund it. Another says, I would pay $39.99 for this, honestly. Not 70. Wait, $70? You've got to be kidding me. Oh, my sweet Skyrim titty. They're not kidding. Wow. It is actually $70. What the hell? Is this real? It is. Oh my god. What is it? What are you paying for? So basically $60 for the standard version for the Nintendo Switch and $70 for the Nintendo Switch 2 version. And then they have the audacity to put the Mega Dimension DLC at an extra 30 freaking bucks. That's bonkers to me. That is bonkers for a game that essentially looks like the console version of Paper Mache. Like, please explain to me why this game looks like it came out 20 years ago. It looks like freaking Pokemon Stadium and Coliseum. Colostomy. I'm sorry. But it basically looks like these games, but on the Switch. And you mean to tell me that this company that's worth over $150 billion, wait, let me just fact check that. Oh, my bad, sorry, $96.5 billion. Could have sworn I saw the other number, unless they lost money or something where I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, you mean to tell me that a company that has that much money, one of the richest entertainment franchises on the planet, dropped this specific game in the year 2025 and said, Yep, that's good enough. Are we forgetting something? Did they forget something? Nintendo and Game Freak are sitting on obscene amounts of money. They could have built something gorgeous, like a full-on living city, something like the Digimon game, something that looks like that. Like, not freaking recycled assets. And I'm sorry, I'm just so flabbergasted right now because I've been watching other people play the game, and it's just crazy to me how you'd expect a game of $70 in the year 2025 to look better than this, to play better than this, to have a bit more than what it had freaking 10, 15 years ago.
All time. Grandia 2 on Dreamcast had voice acting.
Here, take your money.
Okay, we have unique posters, unique poster technology. So far, all these posters are unique. Graphics are slightly reminiscent of Pale Land. Okay, we have a sound effect on the grass. Okay, we got some character popping in and out. I don't even think Pale Land had that. But overall, this is a better looking game than Pale Land, okay? But I'm just saying that Pale Land didn't. I don't think Pale Land had pop-in like that. What happened to your Pikachu? Uh-oh, wait a minute. I saw this poster already. I saw this one. Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Seriously, go check out Video Game Donkey's video because his review is freaking hilarious. When I'm watching, because I'm not spending money on this shit, I watched the trailer first to see if it was something that would be worth playing. And so far, yeah, after the horrible Pokemon Scarlet and Violet experience, I was like, no. I was so excited when I first got that game, and I was like, oh, yes, it's gonna be free roam, and it was, I don't know what happened, but I was very disappointed, and I fell off of it very, very fast. I kept expecting it to get better, and it just never did. And the one thing I walked away with was, aside from the crippling disappointment, was just extreme boredom and trying to cope with the fact that I actually spent money to buy what essentially is just shit sitting on the shelf somewhere, and I don't play, and I will never pick up again. There's no motivation to do so. Then imagine my surprise when we finally get Pal World. I'm like, yes, this is the kind of monster capture game I have been waiting for, and I've wanted for so freaking long, only for freaking Nintendo to get their grubby paws on it and say, oh, you don't want to play our game? How about you play no games then? How about that? Want to come back and play our game now? No, I do not. As a matter of fact, your actions never wanted me to run away from your franchise any more than they do now. They could have done so much. There's no freaking dynamic lighting. The textures are still freaking the same in a game that's almost $100. And they don't have voice acting. I mean, we've got a Divinity Original Sin 2 that has voice acting for absolutely everything.
He's somehow upsetting the child.
Are you a sorcerer? One of those guys that brings the bad void things here?
The child looks at you straight on, unafraid, searching your face. He lifts his mirror to his nose, closes one eye, and looks at himself again.
I don't see any source on you or me. I guess they're wrong. Or crazy.
Warm life, truly. How intriguing.
Now look, I know it's a different type of game, but still, consider there are other games out there similar in concept to Pokemon. Actually, scratch that. There's nothing at the moment similar to them right now. Even the video games that look like this crap or worse still have better substance as games. But anyway, Nintendo decides to give us these blocky-ass freaking models, buildings, and empty-ass streets. And the Pokemon, the graphics look like they're moving underwater. It's like they found the GameCube engine and they blew off the dust and they were like, okay, let's just run this back. The cities look dead. Everything looks exactly the same. There doesn't seem to be any much of an improvement from the last installments. NPCs don't blink half the time. The game crashes.
Oh, wanna be used rock smash. Oh, look, I can sit on a bench. No, you cannot. I think I've finally gotten past the tutorial. Now I get to choose what I want to do, right? Ready for more tutorials? Up here, come on. What? I can't press any buttons. The game crashed. Oh no. I can't even turn my Switch off. My controller's completely unresponsive right now. I don't even know how to, I don't even know how to turn my Switch off. Maybe I have to hold the power button on the Switch?
The world just feels really sterile, just as sterile as it did in the last installment. And it's funny because I've noticed, maybe it's just a coinky dinky, that number one, they're utilizing the exact same mechanic as this guy who made a fan-made project that was not commercial at all, that they knew he was working on it for several years and waited a week before he released it to the public, deciding to send him a cease and desist. They're using his exact mechanic with ordering the Pokemon, which I find to be very hilarious. And it somehow still looks worse than a fan-made project that supposedly was supposed to come out like over 10 years ago. I find that hilarious. And they're also I see them trying to sneak in and do the Pal World bit, where they're like, oh, I'm just gonna have my monsters run out towards their enemy, and I'm just gonna stay around and move around and be able to dodge and stuff like that, exactly the way Pal World does it. Which is fine, because they're able to copy everybody else, but nobody's supposed to take inspiration or copy them. But instead, they're going to steal everybody's ideas after they sue them and wrap them up in legalities, and then take their ideas so they don't have to innovate. And the thing is, how are you someone who copies everybody else's homework and you still freaking fail? That's what's really funny about this whole thing. From the inception of this video, it is 2025, right? And the game still looks like something from out of 2012 or worse. How? How do you make something that looks worse and runs worse at the same time in 2025? And don't even get me started. Like, you know, the Puritans are going to be like, oh, well, it's about the gameplay. Even the fans of Nintendo, the ones who roll over backwards to spread their legs eagle and show their gonads to Nintendo so Nintendo can smash them over and over again for them to cry out in agony and pleasure all at the same time, even they are starting to admit that it's not good, that it could be better. Because dare they say something bad about Nintendo, the freaking video game eater and consumer killer and creatively bankrupt litigation monsters. You don't get to make billions every year and act like the graphics don't matter. The story isn't even that good. This isn't even an indie game, bro, and it looks worse than indie games coming out right now. No wonder they're trying to sue Pal World. And it's kind of sad when you think about it, because that game should be a speck of dust on Nintendo's arm. But them doing what they're doing, Nintendo doing what they're doing, just proves they have no creativity. And they're scared of small developers. And they're scared of us as the consumers supporting those developers and exercising our choice to support other people. Even the fans that were still paying money for Nintendo, that want to support other monster capture games that they like also. I mean, Pocket Pair even came out and was like, look, if you play up all of our content, go and play other games. There's so many other games out there that are wonderful while you wait for us to do the updates and everything. They actually support smaller indie developers. They know exactly what they're doing, but no, the billion-dollar company feels threatened by us little people. I need to remind everybody, I'm sorry I keep repeating it, but it's literally the highest grossing media franchise in history, or one of them. It's not like they don't have infinite money. Clearly they do, apparently. Their main motto is gotta sue 'em all, just like Pokemon, right? You could have funded 10 Baldur's Gates, freaking 2 GTA 6s, and still have change left over for your merch. It's obvious that Nintendo doesn't care, and every year they pump out something, the idiots keep buying it because it says Pokemon on it. I'm not saying people are idiots if they genuinely enjoy it. I mean those people who will buy it just because it says Nintendo on it. Just because. Unless you're planning to flip and sell it later because it's important. You're like, oh, it's a new console, it's revolutionary, it's going to be worth something later. Then that's different. But this is coming from someone, by the way, who was a Pokemon and Nintendo fan. First of all, I'm not even just a Pokemon fan. I'm a monster capture, creature collecting fan. Dragon Warrior monsters, Pokemon, every Pokemon game you can think of, I've gone back and collected them. I've sold some of them now, but I've collected them. That's how much I was into it. Going through every catalog I could find. If there was a monster capture game like Monster Rancher, I had grown up playing some of them, and I went back and bought the console specifically for the oldest ones. And I've gone through my whole catalog trying to find every monster capture game possible, even Spore, you know? It's not really a monster capture game, but you know what I mean? Monster type games and breeding games. I love that stuff. And I like variety. I loved Pokemon. One of the best games I ever played was an old retro one called Pokemon Ruby for the Game Boy Advance or the Game Boy SP. Whichever one. It had the thin rectangular cartridge. That's one of the best games I've ever played. It doesn't even have like gigantic graphics or anything. Just considering when this game came out, it still looked very good for its time. And the story, the features, the beauty contest, the way your Pokemon were with you, it felt like it had more quality than what Pokemon's been putting out the last 10 years, if you can believe it.
And from trouncing you will propel me up the ranks.
You are challenged by Bridget, the waitress. if you kill me in a battle zone, you're not gonna get that good of a tip. This fighting is actually different. This is actually they actually did a different combat in Pokemon. Can I?
Yeah, because they stole it from the freaking guy, a fan who was a big fan of theirs that was making a fan-made project with complete free roam and the ability to battle with your Pokemon like this, where you could actually, I mean, it was a little different. You could control the Pokemon, like the trainer was back there watching, and you got to control the Pokemon, and it had the fighting style exactly like that, where you could press the buttons and they had cooldowns and everything. They stole that shit from that fan after they let him work on that game for 6+ years with only a week left. And he was like, hey guys, I'm gonna release the fan-made game. And then they're like, cease and desist. And then they took his shit. A mechanic that he made for the game, by the way, that they did not come up with. Need I remind you? Which is not the first time they're doing this, because the very fact that Pokemon exists is because they took that shit from other games before them, including the mechanics that they did not create or invent. I need to keep saying that because the people who are running defense for Pokemon and for Nintendo seem to conveniently forget this or don't believe it. Pokémon ZA and the recent Pokemon titles feel like someone pressed copy paste from a 2003 project file, or it's like a school project or something. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but who cares? Because they do the same shit with their reaction to everybody who isn't them that does a better job at their job than they do. Like, we have freaking mooks who call themselves lawyers in patenting the concept of pressing A to attack. I know it seems like I'm exaggerating. I know. But that's literally what they're doing. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. They're not doing the A thing, not yet. But the whole patent system and how they're abusing it, if they cannot beat the lower tier people who don't have nearly as much money, who have a drop in the bucket of finances in comparison to Nintendo themselves, they go scorched earth on everyone and decide, you know what, if we can't beat them, then, we're gonna declare war on everybody and nobody can summon now. Well, you can, but watch what happens if you do. Would be a shame if we sue. That's exactly what they're doing. Making enemies of everybody, which is why I'm not surprised a lot of these other big studios are coming out and swinging their balls and teabagging Nintendo right now. Because I like how the bigger companies like, I wish a bitch would. I wish they were like, okay, that sucks that's happening to Power World. And as soon as Nintendo was like, all y'all out there, we're gonna fuck all y'all up, everyone's like, excuse me, who the fuck? Okay, it was different and it was kind of sad you were picking on the little guy. And the thing is, like, these bigger companies, they were looking at what was happening in Power World. They never said anything to Nintendo because Nintendo's beneath them. I know saying that triggers some people because they're like, oh, Nintendo has more money. You can have more money and still be a fucking loser. You do realize that. There's billions and millionaires out there in places of power that are still fucking losers who shock their dogs because they want views and shit. You do realize that money doesn't make you automatically a cooler or more interesting person, right? Okay, just checking. Nintendo and Game Freak are out here spending every resource that they have to sue people and file patents for literal game mechanics that they also took from other games and trying to essentially monopolize the entire concept of monster collecting and summoning, while apparently forgetting one small detail, and that is making an actual damn game. What happened to that? What happened to making a game that's enjoyable? You're falling behind. With all that money, literal billions, why are you not investing in smoother animations and better performance in a world that doesn't look like it's running off a solar freaking calculator? Why can't you make something like this, like the Digimon game, or the Sonic games, or almost every other game that isn't made by Nintendo? Too busy going after indie developers way smaller than you, trying to stop them from making their money because they dared to make a better game. Who hurt you? Did one of the people from Pocket Pair sleep with one of the Nintendo execs' wives or their daughters or something, if they even have any? Because at this point, I feel like everybody over there is a loser. Their wives probably left them, or husbands, whatever. And that's crazy. It's so sad and infuriating to see how far they've fallen. And I know some people are going to be like, well, they still make a lot of money. Like I said, you can make a lot of money and still be a fucking loser and a thought. Catch them in a few years, though, and see what happens. The bigger you are, the harder you fall, the more flaccid your dick. I swear to God. I want so badly. At this point, I don't care. But before this, I wanted so badly to be like, man, here's a Pokemon game coming out. I really want it. I wanted to give it a chance. Nope. Now I look at the trailers and I'm like, what the frick is this? Like, is this from 10 years ago? Are they re-releasing a game? They couldn't update it? What happened? Oh, it's a new game that they made? New? Really? This has to be a troll. It has to be April Fool's Day. Until you realize, no, it's not April Fool's Day because it's not April. Holy crap. This is actually something they put out and charge people $70 for. What in the bejesus? Like, you do eventually have game developers at this video game company, right? Anyway, like, even the voice acting thing, if anyone tries to make any kind of excuse, like, oh, it's too hard and it's too expensive, you need to trip and fall on your nose. You see how much money they have? There are other video games out there that barely have any money, and everyone's doing that. Like, I don't even know why I bother. At this point, I don't know why I bother. Have fun with your saggy ass, granddaddy swamp ass of a game. Make what you want, Nintendo, since you clearly can't get it up anymore. Take all the pills that you require to get barely half-mast, but leave us and our other games and the other game developers alone. Because there's only one outcome when you make everybody else your enemy by targeting their livelihood too. Death by 1,000 cuts will be a kinder description to what's going to come of Nintendo's dying success if they continue down this road to their own utter destruction.